Good evening, good evening, good evening to all those persons who are now joining this Dr. Matthews-Bey show, Voice of the Nation, and also on the live radio Guyana, online radio GMS Live Radio Guyana. A very, very pleasant good evening to you all, to those who are now joining. As you are joining, please share the live. Good evening. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. Tonight is the call of unity to all Aboriginal people. When I mean all Aboriginal people, I mean all Aboriginal people. To those who look like me, who doesn't like me, who likes me, who hates me, it doesn't matter. Tonight is the night to all. A special session of unity to all Aboriginal people. Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon to whichever part of the world you are now joining from. A very, very pleasant good evening, all the way out from Guyana. So, as I will start in 1 minute's time, as I will ask you to share the live. Share the live. My name is Dr. Matthews-Bey. Please, as you come in, please share the live. It is important enough for you to share the live. Tonight is a very special session. It's one of the most that I will give that is good enough to to digest upon, to feast upon, to be edified upon. So to those who are now joining, share the live, share the live, share the live. Oh, I am trying to still catch my breath with what went on today, but I'm summarizing it. I'm trying to summarize it. Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. Please remember my name is Gavin Matthews Bay. And please, as I would ask you to please identify me as to my title. It is who I am now. The Bay is the title to my lineage, to the Americas in which I am on. Okay? So to those who are now joining, a very, very, very pleasant good evening to you. Yes. Yes, 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 to those who are now looking and to those who are now joining. Uh, Let me see how much more time do I have left to start. Oh, yes. Got some time. As you come in, please share the live. I don't exactly really want it to be called Dr. Bay. It is just that it seems significant enough to those who follow the Gavin Matthews Bay show that to give you some not only some clarifications of who am I, but to give some weight, breadth, some evidence based upon the information that I share with you. If I hope you understood what I'm saying, or comprehend, or stand over, and not to stand under, or understand. Okay? There's two differences. There's one you say understand or stand under. It is the same thing. But there's one that you say understood or to overstand or comprehend. That's another different thing. So, to those who would normally join, I want to say this to you. You mightn't have the cash to buy a word dictionary, But my advice to you is download a word dictionary on your device that you have, either smartphone or laptop, and you'll be able to use it. Download the word dictionary that excuse me, that gives you how the word was created. Okay? So you'll be able to follow when I speak on the evenings pertaining to my shows. You'll be able to write the words down, study the etymology of the word, being able to balance what is being said and how you understood or how you comprehend what I'm saying, so we be able to follow, we are on the same page. Because I'm studying from Black Law Dictionary. Then I found out today that you could download the same Black Law Dictionary, you understand, from the website. And it was amazing, you know. But yes, you can. Just type in Black's Law Dictionary. Google it and it'll bring you the information. You'll see there's a PDF file there that you can download it, but the only thing difference is that you have to know what edition to download. I, I use the fourth and fifth edition to to do my studies on. I think there's up to 11th edition. We don't want all of that. We want the fourth and fifth. And right, the reason why we use the fourth and fifth, it gives you the creation of these words and the meaning of them, why it has been used. So by no other ado, I will introduce myself once again. Good evening to those who are now joining. My name is Gavin Matthews-Bey. This is the Gavin Matthews-Bey Show, Voice of the Nation, and also the GMS Live Radio Guyana on the online radio. To those who have the app, you can turn it on and you can listen via the same way. Excuse me, I think I'm yawning enough, but it's good. So, welcome to you who are joining me on this show from Guyana to the Caribbean and around the world. Welcome to you all. Tonight's show is the call of unity to all Aboriginal people. Now, before I go on to that call of unity to all Aboriginal people, there were persons who were asking me, what do I have to say about what is going on in the Guyana Public Service Credit Union? And what input do I have to add to it? Let me be frank with you and to those who are looking, and I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. Please don't bother with the people in the comment section that are usually called jagabats. Please don't worry. Don't read their comments. Don't allow it to sink into you. Don't allow it to get too frustrated. Just try to pay attention and focus on what I'm about to say. Now, I listened to the press conference. As a matter of fact, I was not too long listening to it again, trying to comprehend what I was saying. And I am very much sure that there were two things that was said that we did not really catch to it. To the woman who had a very formal form of relating to the press in a very articulate manner in her pronunciation of words, would have talked extremely, but two things she mentioned in her response to members of the media and the press. She said it was the 12 board members that elects the chairman of the Ghana Public Service Credit Union. To those who were looking at the press conference, So she was trying to say it is based upon the prerogative, because in the rules it did not say how a person or a board member or the chairman of the board shall be removed. There's no such thing in the law that they quoted subsections 8 of something I'm trying to remember, but there were no such thing in the law I was that was quoted about the removal of the chairman. What they were trying to say, it is the powers that gain on the board and the board members to remove the chairman by no confident vote. They didn't find it. They were looking for it. Apparently or subsequently, they could not have found such a subsection of the law that governs the board of directors or the administrative board of the Ghana Public Service Credit Union. But what was said next was very amusing, and I'm sure that a lot of us didn't know. She said it is the Public Service Union members that elects the board. A lot of us didn't hear that part. Members of the news media did not cover that part. So here what's the simple understanding. If it is the board members or the members of the board that elects the chairman of the Ghana Public Service Union, and it is the members of the Public Service Union that elects the board members, it is simple. All you gotta do is when you meet again to elect another board members, don't vote for them. Vote for a new set of board members and elect back the person who you want to, who you think that they will vote. Make sure when you're about to vote for another new set of board members, make sure that you want them to elect the chairman of your choice. Because you're not voting for them to go there and vote for who they like. It is simple. This thing isn't hard. All you public service credit union members has to do when you go to your annual general meeting again for to vote for the board of 12 persons, you just gotta vote for a new set of people. That's all. They're studying to do that, but they have to. It is simple common sense. I don't know why they're making a lot of noise. Oh, they don't like Trevor Ben? Fine. They vote him out in the no confidence motion? Fine. But they have to have another general annual meeting where they vote for a new set of board members. So this set that you got here, all you got to do is vote them out. Don't vote for them. Vote for a new set of persons to be board members. So the very figurative spoken young woman who spoke today in her eloquent voice, you just have to vote her out again because she was very eloquent. She was very upfront and be able to mention what she had to mention. No, it's okay, no problem. Board members, no problem. Public service union, credit union members, all you have to do, it is simple. The annual general meeting supposed to be up again and running. So that time will be coming for you to vote for a new set of board members. That isn't hard. I don't know why there's a big fuss in the news media now. If the board doesn't like Trevor Ben, well, vote them out. Vote in a board that you think that will like Mr. Ben. Because if you listen to the press conference, it's like It's amazing to listen to the press conference. It sounds like preschoolers, people who are now attending, 5-year-olds who are now attending school. One man has to vent his feelings about Trevor Ben getting up and walking out of a meeting because he's upset. You can imagine how long he had that inside of him. I thought these people were professionals. I thought so. Now they have made a decision, and in their decision shows how unprofessional they are. So I hope that the persons who wanted me to mention something about the fiasco of the Ghana Public Service Credit Union would be able to stand over what I'm saying or comprehend what I'm saying, because it's basically a simple problem. It's a simple solution. Very simple. The board member of 12 votes the chairman of the board. Fine. The credit union members votes for the board members. All you gotta do is when their time come around to vote again, you don't vote for them. Don't vote for them. They got to be removed. Or have people who can challenge their position and run for elections of the Ghana Public Service Union Board. It is very simple. It is not hard. It is very, very, very simple. And that is what has happened. Hold on, wait. Oh my gosh. Yes. To those who are now joining, I'm welcoming you to Dr. Matthews-Bey show, the voice of the nation. And tonight's show is based upon call of unity to Aboriginal people. And I want to start stressing on that, be able to pinpoint a few things that we need to start looking at. You understand? You comprehend people. So before I start on that, I want to make sure that I am simply understood upon what I've just said, or I'm simply comprehended upon what I've just said. And people who are looking to just comprehend, it is very simple. I don't have a big long talk upon it because it's a waste of time. The Ghana Public Service Union, the Ghana Public Service Credit Union has a board of 12 persons. The time for re-election is coming up. All you got to do is change them. And that's all you have to do, is change them by voting for a new board. Simple. Vote for 12 new persons. So the one who sits there and think he can just abuse out and tear off and tyrant and feel that, well, he can sound better, the sound of his voice, so you gotta remove him. His time is coming for another election. So if the members votes for the board and the board votes for the chairman, simple. Get rid of the board. Their time are coming. Don't vote for them. You understand? Just hold a minute for me, please. Let me see if I can make. Thank you for calling the GMS. Thank you for calling Dr. Matthews-Bey show, voice of the nation. Hello. Hold on, wait. Let me see this number. Its number looks familiar. 688-2727. Ah, I don't know. This number looks very, very familiar. Yes. So it's not hard. Very simple. Very, very simple. So to those who are joining, I hope that to those who are now looking at this live stream, I hope that I have quenched your thirst for knowledge upon what is going on in the Ghana Public Service Credit Union, because it's something that we have to approach very simple. And the simplicity of it is, if the board votes in a no confident vote against the chairman, well, the members of the credit union, when there is another election to vote for a board, you don't vote for the people that you have sitting there. Simple. You change them. You make sure that the people who are being able to challenge their position are being made so they can challenge your position. It's very, very simple. It's not hard. And they're supposed to have another annual general meeting coming up where they will vote for a board. All you have to do is vote them out. That's an easy. It's not an hard. It's very, very easy. Don't stress yourself. Hold on. Right. So it's nothing hard. Uh oh my gosh. My friend. I don't want to have the opportunity to block you, but it is the it is the context of the words that you're using in the comment. Please, I want you to desist from doing that. You're very, I will call your first name, Diane. You're very, very, very nice. You're a very nice person. I was once told that you don't get people to get under your skin, so don't allow people to get under your skin. You know, have you using fancy words? Don't allow people to get under the skin. So let's start with the call of unity to our Aboriginal people. To my people who are looking, and when I mean my people, my Aboriginal brothers and sisters who are natives of this land, you can find a way out from the situation that you're in by having to proclaim who you are. And let me get down into details of what I'm talking about. There's the issue with Central Housing and Planning Authority demolishing homes that are settled on what they call a government reserve. Point of correction: the de facto administration is not charged of no land in this country. That's one. Number two, the people who are executives of the de facto corporate entity, which is Guyana, they are also citizenship to the corporate of Guyana. They have an entry date. So they cannot be charged over the lands in which they're moving you off from. That's two. The situation is because you are allowing them to do so. Look at what's happening to you. They wait until when you leave your home to go to work, come with a destructive device, take your home off its pinnacle, flatten it, put all your personal belongings under some makeshift zinc sheet application. The de facto administration has no authority over the land in which they claim. The only person that have authority over the land in which they claim, it is you, my Aboriginal brothers and sisters. But you could only understand, or sorry, you can only comprehend what you have or the powers that you have if there's some unity within your collective selves. And when I mean unity, I mean unity. We need to understand that without each other, we cannot not only exist, but excel in our existence. Without ourselves, we cannot proclaim our lineage to each other unless we have a unity. That's what is amazing. I proclaimed my nationality as a Moorish American, but because I did so is because I intend to unify myself with the people that I call my own, my lineage, my brothers and sisters. It is the same thing you can do. Without unity, like the scripture says, a house divided what? Falls. A house united stands. So if we're divided as a people, it's impossible for us to stand if we are not united. We need to be united in everything. We should have a section of people dealing with law, a section of people dealing with the house, a section of people dealing with membership, a section dealing with people proclamation, a section of people dealing with farming to feed the brothers and sisters. This is the unity that I want to sit and talk about tonight. Hold on, wait. Yes. Mr. No, sorry. Miss, what's her name? Julia. Registration of, hold on, valid birth certificate or valid passport, 14-year-olds and older. Registration finished on the 29th of May. Believe you me, I wish that my daughter wasn't registered because she become a property of the state after being registered. The real thing now is for us to stand in unity, to defy and to proclaim what is ours. That's the only way we can coexist. It's the only way we can stop the oppression. That is the only way we can stop systematic slavery and systematic racism. That is the only way we can stand up against democracy, which is taking away our rights. We need to be unified in our progress. Like, for instance, I was studying today about the Acts uh, statutes, and it's how should I put it over? It's damaging to see that these things that I'm studying about that they have in the laws are not really added to us. It's a pretense that we're being given, and if we fall for it, when we govern by these pretense, things that are not real acts, we've been governed by our own actions. That's why when we go before the court and the court talks about acts, you understand? You know, it's hard to it's hard to help people to understand where I'm coming from sometimes. So I gotta break it down some more. After the acts, there are their codes, and after their codes, their statutes, and it follows. Because if there's nothing for me to govern you on, well, then there's no acts. And if there's no acts, there can't be codes to acts. And if there's no codes to acts, then there's no statutes to codes. So then there's nothing for me to prosecute you on. Like, let me say, for instance, the de facto administration went and break your house down. in Linden. But then you are part of the system. You're a subject to the democracy of the corporate of Guyana. They can do whatever they feel like to do with you because you're registered in the system. They can come and break your house down at any particular time. Because even if they give you a document for the house, whether it be lease or transport, you can be transported off the land at any particular time. There's a law, there's a law in sorry, there's a statute in the law that says, and I'm talking about land declaration and provisions. There's a statute in the law that says claim where you stand. If you're living on a property for 5 years and more, you can claim that piece of property because you've been standing or living on it for a particular period of time that is required. But because you are a product of the system, because the system owns you, they can still do what they feel like because you cannot challenge them. You're ignorant of the fact. Why am I ignorant? Well, you weren't taught that in school. In school, they never taught you constitutional rights. They never taught you about your inalienable rights. So now, when you grow to an adult, you become a victim of your own self, your own ignorance. And when you become a victim of your own self, well, they apply oppression to you. They apply racism to you. Then they make you into a slave. Look at it. People build their houses, they claim where they stand, and yet still their houses have been broken down. One individual shows you receipts, yes, from the Lands and Survey Commission, that he had paid for the lease land that he's on, and they still break it down. Why did they break it down? They didn't care. You could talk where you feel like nobody ain't getting back no money. Why are these things happening? Because you are a product of the system. And it will keep on happening. You will find other things that will be happening in the country just because there's a major event is about to take place to distract you. The more I can attract you to yourself and I can distract you from the real reason of being focused to, the better for me. That's why I'm saying tonight to you the call of unity to all Aboriginal people. It is time you take a stand and stand up not only for yourself, but for your rights. It is time. I was preaching protest a couple of months ago, but I realized united as a people with one common goal would make a difference. And if you ask me, I still want the protest because to protest means that you are in opposition with things that have been done in a negative response to you. That's protest. So if you ask me, I still support it. But then I realize that if we are in unity for one common goal and a reason, then this de facto administration will see that we are serious about what we're doing. And I'm serious. Check it out. Check the constitution. With acts commit codes, with codes commit statutes. And they use this as a limitation to take all what we have. We suddenly we suddenly owe them with our lives because why? The Constitution says so. The corporate or the Corporation of Guyana says so. The Corporation of Guyana says, yes, you are their loyal subjects. It is time you come out from being a subject. It is time you come out from being a Guyanese citizen. It is time you proclaim your nationality as an aboriginal person. So these things will not follow or fall upon you. United as a people, we raise one voice to the lands in which we claim back to our foreparents, our forefathers. It is our lineage and our foremothers. But we need to comprehend. Good night, Teresa. It is BEY instead of BAY, not Bay, not bar. It's Bay, BEY. Okay, and when we need to stop addressing ourselves as poor people, we just don't understand based upon the words we identify ourselves at. That is what the administration is using against us. We stand up and we said, well, as a poor man, I barely struggle, I build my house. But they have a right to knock it down because you already identify who you are. You are part of the system. You belongs to them. When you say I'm black and I'm poor, they welcome you saying these things. Because under the statutes and codes of the Constitution, when you identify yourself as that, that's who you are. Because you're acting upon that. So they take you to court and try you upon the acts that you have committed and the statutes that governs the acts. No, sorry, and the codes that governs the acts, because they will use codes for a pertaining act and the statutes that govern the codes. I want all of you who are looking to comprehend that there are certain things that we need to get rid of. And now is a call of unity to all Aboriginal people. In what kind of unity? First one, to act as an Aboriginal. Second one, to focus as an Aboriginal. Means focus means understanding or to comprehend or to stand over your surroundings. So you have identification. We have understanding or comprehending what are your surroundings. Then we have then we have your words and deeds. That is law. We fail to understand, we fail to to stand over our words are law at the end of the day. I self law am master. To who? Myself. And if I am not self law, well then who I master over? I'm not master over anybody. We have a master over us. Because when you give up your self law, you now have a master. To retaining your self law means to edify yourself, to read, to comprehend, to stand up in strength, immovable as a mountain. So when people look at you, they can't bring certain illness to you because they already knew that you understood the law in which is in front of you, which is you. They can't tell you about you, it's only you. When you go to court, it's based upon you not understanding who you are. So you have to take a lawyer to explain who you are. And that lawyer now takes your words, which is law, or that judge takes your word, which is law, and use it against you. So if they can't use your words, they use your actions. What are your actions? Signatory to citizenship, birth certificate, ID card, passport, registration. That's the acts. And then they have codes that follow it to put you in order. The codes depend on where you're from or what school you attend. So they know how to try you. They know when they put you before the court what to administer to you. Like if you say, well, you're as a poor man and I working hard, you'll be treated as a poor man because they know that there's no such thing as a poor individual. And the reason why they want to keep you subdued to a system is because they don't want you to realize that you have inalienable rights. The right to life, liberty, and justice. And let me show you how the acts works. Police stops you. That's the first act. Policeman is there, puts out his hand and he stops you. That's the first act. The second thing, he's waiting to hear what you have to say because you're nervous. But you think when you pull over, that's the act of from you? No, that's the act of sorcery. What is sorcery? Sorcery is to make you afraid of what they have to put upon you or offer you. It becomes sorcery. It makes you weak by arising your sense of fear. That's sorcery. So the man dressed in uniform and he sticks out his hands and it sticks and he says, "You go in the corner." That's the first act of sorcery. Then the second act is if he or she asks you to, after examining your documents, to please go into the police station for further examination. The second act is when you give yourself up without questioning why must you go. Remember now they have to find a reason why you must go into the police station. Then if you ask the questions, well then they will have to issue you a code. What is the code? Imagination again, well, sir, based upon the information that you provide under section whatever, which is a code, we need to find out this, that, and that from you. You again now in fear decide to go into the police station, surrendering yourself. You understand? And the statutes now is putting upon you now. They can put it on you. They can say, well, you gotta answer these questions. Where are you now coming from? Imagine that, yeah? This is your vehicle. When was it bought? Because you have so much fear in you. They apply all these things to you. It's like a plaster. It's like a nut butter on a bread. And then you gotta put some jam and you gotta put some nut butter and you gotta put it together. That's how it works. The next thing is that they work upon your fear. And if they realize that you're extra afraid, then they make money off of you now. You to get put on bail. By what you gonna do by? You're gonna gotta pay bail and you gotta go to court. They're gonna waste of time because they're trying you based upon your words. You're not guilty. There's no sufficient evidence. It's based upon what you said. Now they can take it to court so by either one. You either pass it or lose it. Which one? Some of us mostly decides to pass it. Making the law enforcement officer now, putting him in a position that is no more powerful than you now become his subject. Every time you see stop, every time he see you waiting to happen. So what is one buy and take a 5,000 from me from today or next day. It's applied science, it's sorcery. And then they put you before the court as another form of sorcery to apply fear to you. And when you're fearful and you're ignorant, then you go to jail for no reason at all. And you think you went to jail for a reason. You went to jail for no reason at all. It's just that because you're weak, you're not knowledgeable of the fact. So me talking to my people now, and I say to them, the call of unity to all Aboriginal people is now. Let us unite as a body. Let us unite as a people. Let us unite with peace, love, and friendship to each other. So we can grow as a people. We can call ourselves Moors. Because we not only give identity to ourselves, unity brings an identity. For me, when I say I'm Gavin Matthews-Bey, the Bay is a title to my lineage. And it's me wanting to unite back to my lineage. That is why I say I'm a naturalized citizen. I'm now a Moorish American, not a Guyanese, a Moorish American, an indigenous person of the lands in which are called South, Central, and North America. I had to explain to somebody the other day. I said, these places you call Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Venezuela, Colombia, all these are corporate entities. They are being run by an administration that is a worldwide constitution on corporations. That's how it runs. And when you stand up and say, I'm a Venezuelan, because you're part of the system. When you stand and say, I'm a Guyanese, it's because you're part of the system. You're not knowledgeable of the fact because how you've been brought up. You were never taught to understand that you're in a corporation. Everything about you, it's about commerce. They don't want you to know that. That is why when you claim to be a Guyanese, your product, your commerce, these acts, codes, and statutes applies to you. They can do what they feel like to do with you. You can cry how much you want, you're still a slave because you're part of that system. That applies the acts, codes, and statutes. You're part of that system. Oh well, brother B, what can I do to come out? It is simple. It's via way of proclamation. And to those persons who I'm speaking to right now, based upon having their proclamations being done, right? I very much need you to understand that you still have a lot of reading to do because you need to self edify yourself. That's how it works. That's how we become Moors. We become strong because we protect our homes. What is being done in our homes become law. That's what protects us as a family. When we identify ourselves as I, self law, and master. Not me belonging to a corporation. The corporation tells me how I must eat, sleep, and live. Can't work. Yes, good night to you. And just remember that black is an adjective. We don't use that. We're trying to get away from that. I hope that constantly when you come to the show and you log yourself in, we try to desist from calling ourselves black people. Okay? It's an identification from the system to us. It's how the system identifies us. And when we accept that identification, now we're being traded stocks and bonds. It's like I was talking to a brother the other day, and then I get to realize the word Amerindian is from the system. It's an identification to a people that are indigenous. Because they don't know who they are and their names, they give up themselves and they like to be called Amerindians. So they belong to a system. That's why they go and they take away their lands. They take away what they think belongs to them because of not being able to identify. So they can't take away what's mine because I know where I'm from. So their laws, their acts, codes and statutes does not belongs to me. I cannot be identified by it. I am not part of it. And this can be done via way of proclamation. It's like, for instance, there I was looking up today. I was looking up on two words today. One of them is personality. Personality. Listen to the word personality. Personality. And there's another word of personality. Personality, it is cattle slavery. It's an identification of you belonging in the system. It's the person of who they think you are. It's your personality, not personality. It's two different meaning. And personality goes with taking your title away. The system could only identify you as belonging to them if they take away your title. Personality is stocks and bonds, tenants. You become a tenant. Hold on. Yes. Then we find ourselves in position where it is unable to understand. They are unable to comprehend what is happening to them. It's not that your rights are being taken away. You have no rights as long you're living in a system. It's not that, I would normally say, well, okay, my rights are being violated. Yes, but how can I identify what are my rights when I belong to a system? I can't identify my rights because I belong to a corporation. I'm a subject of that corporation. I can sing a tune how much I want about my rights being violated. As long as I'm registered, as long as I'm aboard of that citizenship, I ain't got, I do not have, I do not have a chance. I ain't got nothing. I can't choose because I belong to a corporation. Personality now becomes who you are, an identified living soul. This is who you are until you die. You were a naturalized person. They cannot change that. You hold on to that, they cannot. The first thing they can tell you, well, if you're a naturalized person, there's certain things like one person said, well, can I have a job? Yes, you choose to have a job and be naturalized. But it's if the people that you're going to work with will treat you as a naturalized person. They have to, because the laws in which they follow does not refer to you. You now become the law. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to say whatever you say goes, but it's not everything that you say goes. You need to understand that there's love, peace, and friendship that is added to it. You need to approach everything in a peaceful and a loving manner so you can make it work. That is why I'm extending this call now to my Aboriginal brothers and sisters. Come on board this train as it's going. It's in motion. Climb aboard this train of proclamation to your citizen, to your rights as a naturalized person. This train that gives you the right to identify yourself as a Moor, as a Moorish American, or a Moabite, as you want to call yourself. We get to comprehend where we're going and why are we doing this. Because you're now being taught. You'll be going through a process. You know, I learned today that the food in which you eat reduces you so much that the system gives you that you have to use things to put back in what you need. I learned that most Aboriginal women need magnesium because they're taking it out from the food in which they give to you. And a lot of women don't know that. A lot of women need magnesium in their bodies. Lots of people. I want to talk about something that was even new to me the other day. And one of them is it is the 7 months in 1 year. But I know that that might be a little too stiff for you. But when you get to comprehend where you are, then you realize there's a cycle in which everybody follows through. I want to welcome you into this fold so you can get to understand or to get to stand over what I'm trying to explain to you. You see, the more you remain in the system is the more domicile you become. Check it out. They claim to be rich, billions of dollars and all this money that they got, but yet still they can't be healthy. Yet still they're not eating the right stuff. Yet still the money is not taking them anywhere. You can't put it into your coffin when you die. Yeah, you can put it in the coffin when you die, but what sense does it make? Being here on earth and living for a purpose is the main important thing. There's a reason why you're here. So I'm saying to you who are looking at this live stream, there's a call for unity to all Aboriginal people. Dial my number. Let us have this conversation. Let us talk after the program. 611 65 75. We can have a line open for more than one conversations at the same time. A call for unity for all Aboriginal people. It would be healthy for us to unite for one common goal and a cause to liberate a people, free them from this bondage of slavery. Open up your minds to this universal law that we're supposed to be a part of, and it's a part of our nature. Open up our visions so that we can see things that are plain and simple in front of us that takes away our opportunity of choice and freedom. We need to. We need to compel each other to a purpose, not only of friendship and love with each other, but a purpose in uniting our souls as one, to come together for a single, simple purpose. Because for everything I've been saying for the past 2 weeks, at the end of the day, the only way we can come out from that is if we tell ourselves, well, look, I no longer need to be in this. I need to be an Aboriginal. I need to be a Moorish American. I need to come out of all of this that is oppressing and suppressing me. And then you will see the happiness that you will gain from doing this. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am more free than anything else that can I ever think of. But the only way I can experience my freedom is if I can forget the world that traps my freedom from me. What is the world? It is simple vanity and lustation of the flesh. That is the word. If we comprehend that the earth is designed for our comfort, why do we have to work so hard for comfort? If the earth is designed to give us comfort, to give us shelter, to feed us, to give us water, the earth is designed for all these purposes. That's why the inalienable rights, one of them is to life, liberty, and property. And what is the property? The earth. Since when we gotta pay for it? These people don't own these houses that they bulldoze. They don't even own the land. The de facto administration does not own the land in which we stand upon. It's a corporation, it's a corporate entity, and you call it Guyana. Since when they don't own the land. The only way we give them priority and rights is when we allow them to do us these things that we're not supposed to allowing them to do. The Constitution protects us from these kinds of things. I was reading it the other night. I was reading it. I was reading from the Constitution, and I was reading it from the Organization of American States. I was reading it, and I want to read it back again. The OAS Treaty on Settlements. That is not settlements you see took place in Linden, but you know why it took place in Linden? Because you are subjects of the corporate entity of Guyana. That's why it took place. To be a naturalized citizen like me, they don't want to do all those things. You got to become a naturalized. As long as you're still in the system, they will keep doing you these things. Acts, statutes, and codes will be applied to you because you are a subject to the system or a product of the system. But the OAS treaty still stands. It says a special treaty will establish adequate means for settlement of disputes and will determine patent procedures, per, pertinent procedures, for each peaceful means such as no dispute between American states may remain without definitive settlement with a reasonable period of time. It's part of the international agreement with the Aboriginal settlement, the people. It's part of that. But how can you hold on to that if you're not Aboriginal? If you haven't proclaimed your nationality as a different person? I had a friend ask me today, so you can be deported. I said, yes, but where are you deporting me to? To America that I claim? This is America. So where are you deporting me? They asked me that question. They said, well, if you give up a Guyanese citizen and you're no longer a citizen of the corporate republic, you can be deported. Yes, but where? Back to the country that back to the land that they claim lineage. Just when you deport me to my hold on, when you deport me to my, and they ain't gonna do that because here is the common sense. If you deport me to the land in which I'm from, which is America, in which I stand right now, I have to own all of it because it's mine. See the trick in it? But they ain't gonna tell you that. Look at the common sense. You're no longer a citizen of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, which is a corporation. Well, then you cannot live in Guyana if you're no longer a citizen of Guyana. Let's use that as an immigration process. So you're eligible to be deported. So where am I deporting you to? Number one, you who are looking to deport me can't deport me because you have an entry date also too. So how can an alien citizen deport a natural citizen and a natural sorry how can an alien citizen deport a natural indigenous person to the land? You can't. So it's hard. And if you're deporting me, where are you deporting me to? To the land in which I'm from. Where is the land? Right where Guyana is formed. So then I am the owner of all this land. I'm now the master of all I survey. So now you're here illegal. I can deport you now to the place in which you came from because all of you are citizens of the corporate Republic of Guyana. All of you now. I can deport all of you off my land, deport the entire corporation, climb aboard your ship and sail away. It's according to the Constitution. You want to know which one of them? Let me imagine it's here. Hold on. Immigration. An act of removing from one country or state to another. It is to be distinguished from expatriation. The latter means the abandonment of one's country to, hear the word, to, and sorry, the abandonment of one's country and the renunciations of one's citizenship in it. You understand what I mean there? Let me read it back. The act, again, act, statutes, and codes, here it is again. The act removing from one country or state to another. It is to be distinguished distinguished from expatriation. The latter means the abandonment of one's country or renunciation of one's citizenship in it, making you a 14th Amendment citizen. I can deport you. Yes. Matter of fact, I renounce my citizenship. So eventually I'm an American. I'm no longer Guyanese. But my lineage belongs to the South American continent. Where is now the powers thereof? None. I have no authority in everything that I do. I'm the master of all I survey. I can walk upon the land in which is my lineage because I have direct descendants. The information available. And what is the information? B. B-E-Y. Gives me that authority. That is my title to the ancestral land in which I belong to, the Americas. You see how simple it is? It's not a hard, it's not puffed up, it's not shaken down. And to support that, now we can go to the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. The Constitution says, for the purposes of this act, again, which does not belong to me, a person born aboard a registered ship, like those who came, who has an entry date, a person born aboard a registered ship or aircraft or aboard an unregistered ship or aircraft of the government of the country shall be deemed to have been born in the place in which the ship or aircraft were registered. That means if the ship came from India and your parents was aboard that ship, they died, and you were born before they died, you're being identified as a person with a date of entry came from India. So now you cannot have naturalization because you're not an American. You're from where you came from. The only way you now can become a person living and working here is being a part of the ship that your foreparents came from, which is Guyana, the corporation of Guyana. That is why when you go before the magistrate courts and all these places, it's the law of the sea that they exercise, not the law of the land. The law of the land belongs to the indigenous people. Whatever they say is law, which is a person like me, because I'm original. And to all those who are looking, it's a simple comprehension of the laws before you. What registered ship are they talking about? What aircraft are you talking? And this is the revised version of what, 2009 or 2016? I think it's the revised version of 2016 of the Constitution of Guyana. There's an amendment, and there's a revised version of the amendment where it says, and did I complete right? Where did I stop off? Oh, yes, and the government of any country and shall be deemed to have been born on the place in which the ship or aircraft were registered, or as in these case may be in that country. May be in that country. So you have a citizenship. So since when does people who have a citizenship to the corporation suddenly can put aboriginals off their lands? Because we never contest it. And how can we contest it? Is by proclaiming our indigenous rights to the land. It's a proclamation. I'm no longer a Guyanese citizen. I renounce my Guyanese citizenship. I'm no longer to be identified as a Guyanese. And when we do that, we put the corporation in limbo because the corporation can't function. The corporation can't function. It can't do nothing. What do it has to do is pack up and leave. You can imagine if 750,000 Guyanese, I mean, include all the East Asians and who you want to identify yourself, decide to say, well, look, I renounce my citizenship. I'm no longer Guyanese. What will happen after then? The de facto regime has nobody to govern. Exxon has nobody to do business with. Nothing, as a matter of fact, cannot be done because there's no longer a Guyana. It has to pack up and go where it came from. Follow the route through the OAS, through the Commonwealth, straight to Britain. But boy, they want no long. The people they want nothing to do with Guyana no more. They chase we. So we got to come back to you. That is what is happening. And you who are the loyal subjects of the corporation, or the corporation, sorry, cannot do anything about it because you're registered as subjects. You are a present day slave. Sometimes I gotta be more factual. I'm trying to curve the conversation a bit to let you know where you stand, but it's hard because I have to tell you too, I was once one of them. I was once a slave. A couple of months ago, I was a slave. I used to tell you about democracy. You forget? I used to sit on here and tell you what democracy is something that is not being established in Guyana and it's been taken from us. Our democratic rights, our sovereignty is the constitution. You remember all these things I said to you. But one day I woke up and realized I was in a system that created the shadow government. What is the shadow government? Shadow government is what runs these democracies. Shadow government is the places that exercises systematic slavery, systematic racism, butchery, murder, mayhem, dictatorship. That's the democracy. Is what stands. It is a fact. So when I went abusing but Granger and what's his name? Harmon and Jagdio and Ear Fraud and all these people, they were practicing a democracy. And we don't know that. They never said that to us. I mean, they ain't gonna come and tell me this is part of a democracy. This is how a democracy works. This is how a democracy works. And when we fight against the democracy, then they implement acts, codes, and statutes. Well, here y'all are slaves. Y'all agree to be in this democracy, suddenly you're going against it, and you still want to be in it. Well, I'm gonna act out. That's why you're being locked up so many times. You're always in the lockups taking bail. This, the no, but it doesn't apply to me. Anything then this is kidnapping, wrongful detention, and there's a penalty for it. But these are the facts that I'm sitting here letting you know what is going on in this. Okay, you're not hearing me? Hello? Hello? Anybody who's hearing me, give me a thumbs up. I see somebody saying no songs, only readings. But just let me know if you're not hearing me. Or if you are, loud and clear, show me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But these things are the facts that I'm explaining to you. Oh yes, people are hearing me then. These are the facts. So I'm sitting here tonight. It's a call of unity to all Aboriginal people, people who look like me. There's one man asking me if an East Indian fellow cannot not naturalize himself, like come out of the system. Yes, he can. He can, but he wouldn't have rights to the land. He might have rights to settlement, but not the land. You can do that. No problem. So I'm saying to you, oh, and I must make it clear, you don't join the Moorish Empire. You don't join. Being a Moorish American is not an organization you join, it's a declaration from you, the individual, to choose this. The Constitution can't stop you from doing that. It's a declaration. But before you add yourself to the Moorish Americans, is that you must understand or you must comprehend that there are orders that you will and must follow. One of them is peace and love. Must have to follow that. Must have to show that. I was angry as up to day before yesterday. But then I realized no, I in order for me to in order for me to progress in the things that I'm doing to become an independent person of a corporation and not a slave, is to show this extreme gratitude of love and unity to bring my brothers and sisters away from this tyranny of oppression and slavery and racism. I want you to comprehend this, Guyanese. It's not something that we can keep constantly doing all the time. We need to get rid of it. It's a sick, it's a disease. Fear is a disease. It makes you become unhealthy. I choose this conversation tonight because I want you to know that I'm willing to 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 start this event in your life with you, to show you that there's peace and independence from a system that enslaves you all the time. People say, well, how is it that we survive? Well, we got to survive. How is it that we know how to survive? In any mass gathering of a people, they have people who knows to plant, they have people who knows to read like scribes, they have people who knows to do midwives to give births to babies, all these things. And when we survive, it's the same simple way we survive in the system, we survive outside of the system. If there are things that people don't know, you can create your own bartering system in exchange of goods and services. But instead of that, we need to uplift the people first before we spread out the people. That's how we take possession. We take possession by knowledge. Knowledge is self law. I, self law, am master. Islam. It's not a religion, it's a way of life, it's a culture. I had a lengthy conversation today with a brother of mine to telling him, I said, look, the Bible that you talk about, when you read it properly, it's about it's about the cosmos, it's about the alignment of stars. Number seven, the seven trumpets, the seven stars, the seven wonders of the land, the seven seas, the seven continents. If you take your time and you read the Bible, you'll understand that it was scripted for you and I. They couldn't hide that. The only way they did was plagiarize it into a European form, because they themselves doesn't know where their culture came from. So it's our culture that they give us in a plagiaristic manner. These things we need to comprehend. I look and I realize that I'm sad to see what's happening in the corporation of Guyana and its subjects. I am sad to see what's happening to my Aboriginal brothers and sisters who are still trapped in that corporation. I am sad to see that you've been taken off the lands in which you build your homes upon. When you follow according to the constitution, it says claim where you stand according to the constitution of the corporation. And now they're moving you off because you can't claim where you stand. How can you claim if you have no lineage to the land? Think about it. Think about it. Am I not making sense? How can you're being bulldozed off the land that you want to claim where you stand according to the corporation of Guyana? But then how can you claim the land in which you stand upon if you have no lineage? You could only be given a transport or a or what you call it, a lease, and that you can be removed because it doesn't make any sense. You're temporary on the land. You can build whatever structure you want to. At the end of the day, it's temporary. You know why it's temporary? Because you live in a corporation. A corporation has a beginning and an ending. Yes, it has a date of entry and a date of ending. That's what a corporation has, and you're subjects of the corporation. So all of you has a date of entry and a date of ending. You don't believe me? Check on the identifications that they give to you. You have date of entry and date of expiration. Yes, you can be expired at any time. They say, well, no, it's dates, expiration dates. Yes, you have an expiration date. You, that's why they give it to you. It can happen anytime. You make me uncomfortable, I could come and take your life because why? You have an expiration date. You belong to us. It's sad to say that mothers who are looking. Because when they had the tyranny of murder and the Jagdeo time with all them hundreds of people that died, they fall under the corporation. They become loyal subjects of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, that corporation. Who runs it then? The executive, shadow government. Nothing has been come out of the situation because the subjects doesn't want to do anything about it. And if the subject doesn't want to do anything about it, it becomes law. Now you can see what's happening. Anybody can die at any particular time. See what's happening in Essequibo, the businessman that died, that they killed in Dartmouth. Is Dartmouth? I'm trying to remember. Nothing came out about it. Policeman went and bail, and that's it. Just so they're going to be swept under the carpet because you are loyal subjects of the corporation. There's nothing you can do. You voted for a democracy. That's why you stand up in line and vote at election day. Yes, you might vote for changes, but the same democracy you voted for. It doesn't it matter. The change that you vote for is who runs it. That's the point. It is sad to say that now at this time, but it is the real deal. And then the churches who are part of the corporation are being paid to make sure that you keep in faith in a religious aspect that was created by them. That is why I say the church and politics are one. It's the same. Because religion was created by man. It took the spirituality of the aboriginals and turned it into religious aspect. Religion. Even into the laws have differences of how you may pay your tithes. Show you an instance. Let me show you this. They say pay 1/10 of your earnings to the church, but then you don't earn, you gain wages. So what's the difference? So how can you pay 1/10 of your wages? Subjects gain wages. They don't earn. They work for wages. Earning is when you develop something, you earn from it. Like you sow your seeds and you plant your rice, you earn from that. It is sweat of thy brow, thou shalt eat thy own bread. You go and work for money that belongs to the corporation. So it becomes wages and salary. How can you pay 1/10 from that? Study the etymologies of words, and then you get to comprehend what I'm saying. Yes, to those who are looking, you earn 1/10 of your earnings. What is your earnings? How do you earn something? By the creativity of thoughts, words, deeds that are actions, and you earn that. When you go to work for something, that's a wage that you collect. You call it wages and salaries. because the fiat dollar is nothing. So that becomes your wages. It becomes part of your salary, the fiat dollar. I don't have my wallet with me, but the money that you go to work for, you cannot earn that. It belongs to a system. It doesn't say Bank of Gavin Matthews-Bey. It says Bank of Guyana. Legal tender note property of Bank of Guyana. So you don't earn what belongs to somebody. It's a wage that they give it to you and you have to give it back to them. What do you spend in the market? The same money that they give to you as part of your wages and salary because you go to work for it and you spend it back into the market. It comes right back to them. You see how the system works? Your earnings is what you would have gained. That's why I say 1/10 of your earnings, your crops, what you have developed, what you have reaped. They try to mix it up. They call it, oh well, then your money is saying what 10, but what do you earn from it? Or some people say, well, I get a house and I get a car, but you get a house and the car, but doesn't belongs to you, belongs to the corporation. The land in which you build the house, it is a transport to transport you off the land. The monies that you get from your wages to build that house, it can be broken down like how people went and break down the ones in Linden. Yes. The fancy car that you drive, you have to have a registration of it. You have to have an insurance policy of it. You have to have a road service license of it. You have to carry a fitness of it. Then you have to be a licensed driver to drive it. So does it really belong to you? If you don't pay insurance, what gonna happen, boy? Police catch up on the road, what gonna happen? They're gonna impound your vehicle. If you don't buy us road services license, what gonna happen? They're gonna impound your vehicle. Does it belongs to you? If it doesn't have a registration, well, oh boy, they're gonna take it away from you. And you pay how much? $2, $3 million for one? You get the point? You're able to comprehend what I'm talking about. We must be able to open our eyes. This is what we live in. It's a bubble of slavery, systematic enslavement of a people. Then they categorize all of us. They gave us certain categories of slave ship because that's how they come on a ship of slaves. They call it citizenship. That's a new word for it. They ain't gonna tell you, well, you're a slave aboard a ship. They can tell you you're a citizen aboard a ship. Citizenship. Believe you me. Believe you me. The things I sit to talk about tonight in front of you, it is what I want to edify you about and where you are going as a people. This is a call of unity to all Aboriginal people. Come, hear the truth. Understand, comprehend where you are. I know you had worked years for years for years for nothing, for fiat money. I know that. But you still don't own what you have. You don't even own you. If you go into the woods and cut down your own wood and make your own house, You know that's yours. You own it. You know why you own it? Because of your inalienable rights, the right to property. So you own the house that you design off the land of the earth without cause or ill will. You didn't have to buy it. You went and chop it down. The earth and everything thereof belongs to you. It is your heritage. That is why I seek mine. And I say, Bay is my title because the title leads back to my lineage, which is the heritage of my foreparents. To know, well, yes, I own something. I'm part ownership of the land in which I'm on, like every other Aboriginal. We own where we came from. We weren't aboard a ship. So how can those aboard a ship come to change our beliefs by simple adding us to the corporation of citizenship, taking away our rights? You call it abandonment because they can tell you, we take away your rights, you give it up. But we can say, but we went enslaved, we were enslaved. At the end of the day, even the system that was created is slavery. You decided to be a slave. No. Because why? You got money, you got the systematic medication, you got the systematic food. Remember now, they're giving you the money, which is a wage and salary. They're feeding you, which is the food, because they're creating what you call dietary, a dietary chart for you, right? The medication they're giving you, which kills you out, because the dietary chart is poisoning you in the medication. The medication makes sure that you're dead. The minute you start taking the medication, well, your expiry date is soon come, and they got to hurry up to make the money off of you. Then your rights are now mine because you're a citizen aboard a ship. You have a citizenship, a Guyanese citizenship, not an Aboriginal, not an American citizen as an American, as a Moorish American. They took all these rights away from us and they lure us into these nice things, these niceties. Well, if I come out from it, me and got electricity, I ain't got, well, you can have all these things you want. You can still drive a car, you can still have your home, but you have to be a Moorish American to enjoy such freedom without taxation. Nothing. They can't charge you and ask you for anything. You're indigenous to the land. They now have to pay you royalties for the investment on the land. And that's what they haven't paid us for how many years. Do you understand the reason why they talk about, reparation? 40 acres and a mule? That is the payment. That is what they owe us. 40 acres and a mule. You think it's because of slavery? No. It is because of the peaceful treaty with friendship and peace that they entered into in 1777. That's what I'm talking about. Check it up. To those who have access to the US Library of Congress, you can check it up. You can go on the internet, you can check it out. You these things that belong to you, how come suddenly you don't have any control over it? Why? These people come here and meet you. Why did you think, hold on, why did you think that they murder all those persons on the Isles of Hispaniola, which is now Dominican Republic and Haiti? One island had over 60 million people living on it. Why you think that's one of the largest populated island in the Caribbean? Dominican Republic and Haiti, the island of Hispaniola. It is still Haiti alone. Haiti alone, half of the island got over 14 million people. Half of that island that we call Haiti has over 14 million people. There's no other island in the Caribbean or in the West Indies, as you want to call it, has such a population of people. Jamaica, within the Caribbean community, we got Jamaica and Trinidad, one of the two, both of the two of the largest populated islands in the Caribbean. Oh no, Haiti is now part of the Caribbean community. Yes, my apologies. And Dominican Republic, I think almost about 20 million people living there. 20 plus 14, but 34 million people living in one island. You know why? Do you know why Haiti was one of the first independent countries that declared their independence? Because they were an island of Moors, Aboriginal people. They demanded and they fought the French, they fought the British, they fought the Dutch. Well, the French had a very bad day. They had a very gruesome day. And they wanted them to pay. You could imagine Haiti had to pay France $500 million. For what? Nothing. All the gold they took out, all the sugar cane they reaped, everything that they took from that, and they got to turn around and pay them. So you can imagine what's happening here now. You could imagine what's happening here in Guyana with all this systematic enslavement that's going on. Check it. Look what's happening in Guyana. 500 plus $1 billion pass. $420 billion done spent. Where it is? Where is money there? $500 billion done pass. 500 billion. 20.7 billion is 100 million US dollar, right? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. That's 100 million, right? A 100 million for 100 billion. 500 million US dollars is 500 billion Guyana dollars. Plus, sorry. Let's carry it up to roughly nearly 600 billion. In an economy that's worth 20 million US dollars. A working force of 50,000 in the public service sector. Why you think Jack Joe is attacking the public service sector? Because it's the only place that he can see that he gain money from. They ain't got no other way. The private sector can't get 500 billion from. So I don't know where the taxes are coming from for them to gain back that 500 billion that they're looking to spend. It can't come from oil money because they got to keep borrowing on the oil money. They can't turn up and collect it like how they claiming. So imagine you coming out of this system that it has you enslaved for no reason at all. The fiat money, there's nothing to gain from it. What will profit a man to gain the whole world and to lose his own soul? Nothing. It's because the earth was designed to make you live in comfort. So what profit are you talking about? Simple comprehension. If we understood the reason why we're here on earth and the lives that we're expecting to live, our vision and our thoughts would be very different. But because greed overtook all of us, for every decade we descend in our standard and our way of living and our lifespan. I think I've gone over my time. I just realized that I'm way over my time. But I want to say to you, I'm happy still. I sometimes in this program you realize I could go on more and more because as I speak, the information flows because of what I've read and becomes educated about. I educate myself with things that I want to talk to you about, and it just flows out. The spirit moves, gives me the ability to even explain to you even more, break it down into syllables, help you to understand, help you to comprehend, sorry, not understand, help you to realize that there are much more things that are different that they don't want us to know. They want us to keep on with the same thing that frustrates us. Money to get for pay bills, you got your children to feed, then they got your lifestyle. Some of you might be sick, but little do you realize that the earth provides all these things for you without a system. So in order for you to, and look, you see that here was the most terrible, terrifying part of it. They're coming all the way from wherever they come from that doesn't grow a blade of grass, that doesn't produce vegetation like how we produce it in this hemisphere, to tell us how to grow our foods, to tell us what to eat. You can imagine the farmers in Guyana gotta wait on what do you call it? Oh shoot, it's not manure. This thing that you gotta sprinkle to grow your food. You gotta wait for it to be exported from whichever country that doesn't grow a blade of grass. So we can sprinkle the little we can sprinkle the chemicals to grow our foods and feed our children to poison them even more. Imagine they're coming all the way, all the way from where they are in the comfort zone to extract oil from Guyana to give us fiat currency. And not the right amount of fiat currency, a little bit. Imagine in 10 years they're expected to extract 1 billion barrels of oil. In 10 years, 1 billion barrels of oil. Check the information on the internet. Each block produces 200 something, 250,000 barrels of oil over a particular period of time, a month, 1 month, 250,000. No, sorry, my apologies. Supposed to be a day. I gotta check it back. But in 10 years, they expect to extract 1 billion barrels of oil. And we can't even borrow on that. We got to borrow based upon what is being put into the sovereign wealth fund. And that's it. $500 million and the country gone wild. Just today alone, a man out here by the house beside I'm living, talking about Cully and Black. This is why I don't got time with them. The PPP will reign. So what? You take your corporation, you could take it back to where you come from. Leave us here as an independent people, Aboriginal. I want to say thank you to all those who have joined. I want to say this is a call of unity to all Aboriginal people. Call my number. Let's have this conversation, people. Let's take ourselves away from this system. We can survive. There are those who have been surviving a long time ago. We have our Trinidadian brothers who've been surviving. Moorish Americans. We got communities all over the Caribbean. and we can claim lineage to our land. So they can't share it to me as they feel like they want to invest on it, they gotta pay us. Yes, they do. And they have to. If they want to invest in it, they got to pay us royalties. Here, as again I say, I want to say thank you to those who have joined, to those who are being a part of this live feed, and also on the online radio. I want to say black love to you all. Black love still continues. It is still there. You're interested on it being printed on the material to be to for your benefits. You can call the number and we can discuss the price. Well, the price range is simple. I've been putting it out there for a little while. It just depends. Oh, and they're on the wares too. But I don't want to publicize it on the Facebook to say that I'm breaking community codes and standards. So you need to call. You need to call me. I'll send you a photograph of the kind of underwears that I have, and mostly it's ladies because ladies are those who the females are those who are buying out the Black Love brand mostly. 95% of the people are ladies, are females. Sorry to say that, gentlemen, but you can still buy. It's just to support the cause. So stay safe, be careful, sanitize yourself, wear a mask. Don't forget the little ones you take into public places. This is Dr. Matthews-Bey saying good night and Cheerios for now. Yes, fertilizers. Thank you very much, Lennox. You can imagine how my brain is being. Cheerios, people.